Today on a 2018 Ford Fusion, we're going to be taking a look at the Inno Aero flush roof rack system. This consists of 3 parts. The bar is going to be INXB 115-2, and then we're also going to have the flush feet for the Aero crossbars, and that's going to be part number INXS 200, and also the custom fit kit for those for the flush feet, and that's INK 860. Now, as you can see, we already have 1 bar installed. Just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, we're going to put the second bar on together. So the nicest thing about this Inno Aero rack is that it's going to be a low-profile design, so it looks like a factory roof rack, and it also has the locks already in place in the cover, so you don't have to pick up anything extra. It already comes with that feature. So if we open that up, it'll give you a better look of what it's like inside there. So you can see the shape of the bar, again, is that Aero design, so it kind of mimics an airplane wing to give it a more aerodynamic shape, and this is going to help to reduce wind noise and drag. So you don't necessarily need to pick up a fairing to reduce that sound as you're going down the highway. A lot of times with the older racks, like the round and square bars, would have a lot of whistling and wind noise. So we don't need to worry about that with this rack. It's going to take care of that for us. It's also going to be a sturdy and durable aluminum, and this has a glass blasted powder coat finish, so it's going to resist rust, corrosion, fading over time. So it's just going to be a really good looking, long lasting rack. And the foot itself that attaches the bar to our Fusion, this is going to be the flush feet. So that just means that our bar ends right with the feet. It doesn't go past there. Now, there's some advantages and disadvantages with that. This gives it a more factory look to have that flush design with it just ending here. Sometimes people do like to have the through bar style, just have a little bit of extra space to haul their gear, but it's really up to you. With this one, it makes it a nice clean look, just ends right there in the nice cap. Take this off once more. And the fit kit is going to consist of this hook here and the rubber pad that goes underneath. These are custom fit for your Fusion, so it's going to fit really nicely with your roof design, and it fits with the contour, just snugging right in there. And there is some adjustability in the foot pack that allows you to rotate this to go in line with your roof's contours again. And this steel clamp is rubber coated, and obviously the rubber pad, neither one of them are going to cause any scratches or abrasions to your vehicle, so you don't have to worry about any damage from putting this in place. Another nice little thing about this is that it is labeled on the foot pack, so you know which side goes where. So we have a little R down here, so we know that this is going to go on the right side of our vehicle, and we'll show you some more details about that when we get our other bar installed. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I have this sort of half installed right here, and the bars are going to be the same length, so you don't have to worry about which one goes where, but you do need to pay attention to which foot you grab to put it in place. Again, it is labeled, so we're going to be working with the left side here. Again, it has that little embossed L, so you know which one it's going to be. And there is a little embossed diagram showing you the shape of the bar, so you just match that with whatever side you're going to be using. So, to start off, as you can see, I flipped my bar over. And there's going to be a little insert in the channel here. We need to slide this out. And there's a little push button there. You just slide it out until you have this little space. We'll take our little nut plate, and there's a notch at one end. We need to line that up with the notch in the space there and just pop that in place. Now we're going to slide this back in, and we're going to push down that little button until it goes all the way back and that nut plate falls in the channel. Then we can grab our leg, and we're going to flip this over. This notch right here is going to fit in the space, and then the other notch is going to fit into that nut plate. So just flip that over on top, so it's snug in place, and then push it all the way back. Until it sort of drops off the edge there. Now we're going to tighten up the nut inside. We're going to use the longer, larger Allen key or Allen tool to tighten this down. You don't need to get it completely snug yet. We're just trying to get this so that the foot is attached but not completely tight. We still want a little bit of wiggle room so we can make our adjustments. While we're here, we can also grab that rubber foot. Now again, you want to pay attention to your instructions and see where it says which number of pad you'll need. So this is the one we'll need for our rear bar, and you're going to match the bolt head spaces with the bolt heads on the actual plate. So just flip this over and press it into place. So it's kind of nice thing about Inno is that they make it pretty easy to know which way things are going to go. They have everything really well labeled as far as that's concerned. You may have to just hold onto the bar while you press that into place so it doesn't wiggle around on you. You're just trying to get those little sort of triangular spaces pressed in there, and you'll kind of feel it pop in place. So now we need to measure the space between those attachment points. And it does come labeled with a midpoint on your bar, but ours has disappeared on us, so we've made a little mark. It's always good to double check that to make sure that you know what the midpoint is, because it's going to make measuring this a lot easier. So we'll measure in between there, make sure we have it right. And lucky for us, it is where it needs to be. So now we can tighten both bolts down. Again, just snug enough so we can still have that side movement, but it's not going to go in or out. We don't want it to get any wider on us. Okay, now we'll do the other side. It kind of helps at least to get it started with that longer bolt, or with the longer end of the tool. And then one last double check to make sure that nothing's moved on us. Still looks good. Okay. So now we can place our rear bar onto the roof. So we don't quite need to open the doors yet, but it's a good idea just to have them there so we can get everything in place. It's also always a good idea to make sure that your car is clean when you're putting this on. You don't want any debris to get stuck in there and cause any problems. Also, you want to make sure that you have the round edge of that bar facing forward. Again, these are labeled to make it a little easier so you know this is the right side, but that's also a thing to note as well. So the shape of the bar will give you a clue. So I'll place this on, get the feet situated more or less where they need to go. And again, Inno is kind of unique in that turning attachment there, so we can really match this with our contour of our roof. So we get that one in place, and now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And before we get our hooks in place, we'll want to measure the crossbar spread so we can find the right placement for our rear bar here. So you can kind of do this two ways. Inno does give you two measurements. They give you the space in between the bars, and they also give you a measurement from the bolt to the center of the door where the two doors meet. So I'm going to be using that measurement to find my placement on my bar. You'll want to do this on both sides so that you make sure you have it in the right spot and everything's parallel. So it looks like we need to go up quite a bit. Do the same thing here. And again, you're going, if you choose to do it this way, you're going from that center of the door to the center of the bolt on the foot there. So now that I have it in place, I can adjust again my foot placement to get it all lined up. And this has a really nice custom fit to it, so it really hugs the line on our Fusion. Okay, with that in place, we can take that bolt out, and we'll grab our torquing tool that comes with the kit to tighten up our foot, because we don't want it to keep being able to shift around side to side. So you'll take that tool, and got a little ahead of myself, but it'll come like this. You'll just pull that bar out, place it in the center, and it's ready to go. So we're going to tighten up the bolt in the center there underneath this little red plate, and that's going to fully tighten down our foot. And as I said, this is a torquing tool, so once it's tight enough, it'll click like that. Do the same thing on this side and also take out the bolt. We're taking out that bolt so you can actually get this tool in place. Without removing it, you don't really have enough length on the tool to get that bolt tight. And we're also going to be placing our hook underneath this, so dual purpose there. Okay, so now we can grab those hooks and get those in place. And that's just going to rest over the top there. And you want to make sure that the black washer and that little nylon washer are still on the outside. And we're threading this bolt back from where we took it out of. Now the clamps also have, or the hooks also have a number on them. In this case, they're all the same, so you don't really have to worry about it, but typically you want to check your instructions, make sure you have the right one going on the front of the rear bar. Sometimes it's different depending on your vehicle, but in the case of our Fusion, we don't have to worry about it. It is printed right there, just so you can know. So we'll go and place this on the other side and get that all tightened down. And Inno does have a lot of accessories that you can use with this rack, bike racks, ski and snowboard carriers, things like that. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier is that, of course, you can use wraparound clamp style things that just go around the bar, but we also have the T-track here that you can slide things into, and you don't have to remove that rubber stripping inside. You can just slide things in by pressing it down. So that's a kind of unique feature that things just slide in there and you don't have to worry about any cutting. So you're not limited on what you can place in there. So that's kind of a cool thing. Now as we tighten this down, we want to make sure that we do it evenly. So I'm going to stop there since it's snug, go on the other side and tighten it down a little bit there, just to make sure that I'm not pulling too far on one side or the other. And again, this is a torquing tool, so once we have it tight, it's going to make that audible click again. And that's definitely a nice thing because you will know how tight it is. You don't have to worry about it getting over tight and crushing your roof line, and you don't have to worry about it being too loose and coming flying off your car. So it looks like we're getting pretty close there. Give it a few more turns here. There we go. So now I'm going to close the door here, and we can finish tightening up on our passenger side. And if you're really curious on that torque spec, it's 3 Newton meters, which is written on there. So now that's tight. We can grab our covers, and again, they take out the guesswork, so they've got the L printed on there for the left side, R for right. Since we're here on the right side, we're going to put that in place. So I'll just slide that on, find my keys in my pocket here, unlock it, there we go, and lock it down. And we can do the same thing here. Again, unlock it, lock it down, and you're ready to go. Now, one last tidbit of information I want to give you is a measurement from the top of our roof to the top of the bar and the space in between. So from the top of our roof to the top of the bar, it's about, I'd say, 3 1/4 inches, and the space underneath is going to be just shy of 2 inches. So that gives you an idea about how much space you have, if you have any ski bindings or accessories that need to swing underneath, and also so you know how high you're raising up your Ford Fusion. So that's going to do it for our look at the Inno Aero flush roof rack system on our 2018 Ford Fusion.